This is Daily Armenia, CivilNet's daily news digest. Here's what you need to know today. Bagrat Galstanyan, the Archbishop turned protest leader, rallied his followers this morning in front of the headquarters of Armenia's Investigative Committee, demanding a meeting with Archbishop Bagrat, the head of the agency, as well as an independent probe into alleged cases of disproportionate use of force by police officers against anti-government demonstrators. Mr. Bagrat should come down here and listen to our demands and answer our questions, Galstanyan said to the hundreds of protesters who have been gathering alongside him for nearly a month now to call on Nikol Pashinyan to resign as Prime Minister. Some of the demonstrators came carrying mirrors, saying they want law enforcement to be able to see their actions with their own eyes. Others came in handcuffs meant to symbolize the 28 people who were arrested last Friday in clashes with law enforcement at an earlier Galstanyan-led protest in front of the Foreign Ministry building. Those protesters are now facing charges of taking part in mass riots, which is punishable by 4 to 8 years in prison. 7 police officers and an unknown number of demonstrators were injured in those clashes. Over the last month, hundreds of Galstanyan supporters have been detained for taking part in acts of civil disobedience, though last Friday marked the first time a large number were charged with crimes. Videos posted to social media appear to show numerous instances of law enforcement using disproportionate force to subdue protesters, though as of now, the authorities have brought no criminal charges against any police officers. In response to today's rally, the Investigative Committee issued a statement saying members of the public, including Galstanyan, are welcome to speak with agency leadership only if they formally request a meeting in writing. By early afternoon, the rally ended without any meeting between Galstanyan and Bagrat. In related news, former President Serge Sargsyan last Friday threw his weight behind Galstanyan as a candidate for Prime Minister, telling reporters he would support changing Armenia's constitution to allow the Archbishop, who also holds a Canadian passport, to take office. The Constitution provides an opportunity to change the clause that prohibits dual citizens from occupying high office by a 2/3 vote, said Sargsyan, who was acquitted earlier in the day on embezzlement charges after a multi-year trial that he had decried as politically motivated. Meanwhile, pro-government lawmakers last Friday indicated they plan to put forward a bill to impose more taxes on the Armenian Apostolic Church, in apparent retaliation for the church's support for Galstanyan's protest movement. Last year, the church paid more than $1 million in taxes, though it does receive some exemptions as a registered charitable organization. In diplomatic news, Armenia's top diplomat spoke by phone with his Georgian counterpart today to go over steps to further strengthen strategic cooperation between the two countries, according to an official readout. In addition, Ilya Darchiashvili told Ararat Mirzoyan Georgia is willing to send aid to parts of Armenia devastated by flooding last weekend. Days earlier, Russian President Vladimir Putin and French President Emmanuel Macron separately called Pashinyan to wish the Prime Minister a happy birthday, as well as to review bilateral relations. Pashinyan and Putin discussed ongoing efforts to repair Armenia's railway to Georgia, which is owned and operated by a subsidiary of Russian Railways and was damaged in last weekend's historic flooding across northern Armenia. As of now, no timeline has been given for the railway to be put back into operation. After that, Pashinyan and Macron spoke about ties between their two countries, with the Armenian Prime Minister personally thanking the French President for his exceptional contribution to the development of bilateral relations, according to a readout from Pashinyan's office. Pashinyan turned 49 on Saturday. In other news, late last week, Armenia's envoy to Ukraine and the head of one of Yerevan's districts visited Bucha, the city outside Kyiv that has become synonymous with alleged Russian war crimes and other atrocities. In a post on Facebook, Bucha City Council said Ambassador Vladimir and Nor-Nork district head Tigran Termarkaryan held talks with Mayor Anatoly Fedoruk and delivered a batch of medicine requested by members of Ukraine's large ethnic Armenian community. They also went to a memorial commemorating the more than 500 civilians massacred in Bucha in the early days of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine 2 years ago. We are proud of the courage of the Ukrainian people who defend their freedom and independence on the battlefield. Yerevan City and Nor-Nork district will always support Bucha and other communities affected by Russian aggression, Termarkaryan was quoted as saying. And finally, the CivilNet number of the day is 1,100. That's the number of approved applications to a new government program that subsidizes the cost of building new homes for families living in Armenia's border villages, according to an update today from Labor and Social Affairs Minister Narek Makrtchyan. And as always, please follow CivilNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground here in Armenia.